All right, now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, listener submissions. AITA for plopping down my goods, forcing the checkout guy to reach. Yesterday, I went to a place I've loved since I was a child, which I still am. Best Buy. I wanted to get a new phone case. Lo and behold, they were on sale. Only $19.99 for a nice Otterbox. I need an Otterbox because I drop my phone weekly, usually while gesticulating wildly in front of an indifferent person.
Relatable.
In classic NYC fashion, the store is ground level and you have to go downstairs to use the checkout. Nightmare, right? I head down and approach the counter. There was no line, and instead of just handing the checkout guy my Otterbox, I plopped it down on the counter so that he had to reach for it. He said something like, so this is what you want? Not realizing my plop, I then apologized because the case was outside the box. I inspected it for quality. It was a little weird he said that, and I noticed his name. Rudy. Rudy. Rudy checks out at the checkout. That checks out. Rudy scanned it, and I threw in my Best Buy card immediately. I have so little going for me, it's actually a point of pride that I'm a Best Buy member. At that point, he said the OB, that's the Otterbox, was actually $60. Some blowhard had actually put it on a $20 rack. I said I'd go see and asked if the transaction had gone through. He said it had not. I went upstairs, and Best Buy ISIS had indeed moved the Otterbox Pro idiot-proof protector to the Otterbox, your kind of stupid flimsy case rack. You hate to see it. I left Best Buy pissed, frustrated that I had the actual Best Buy, but then was told it was a false buy. I boarded the subway, and once on the train, checked my email, rushed to get to dinner. Now, one of the perks of being a Best Buy member, besides being unfuckable, is that you get receipts right away. And there I saw it, $30 for a phone charger. What the F? I was shocked. $30. This made no sense. Guilt-ridden as I am, I could only assume this was a punishment from God or Rude E. I replayed our interaction in my head, and it was at this point I realized I had plopped. I was a plopper. I could have handed him the goods like a human being, but no. I had plopped a decidedly Karen behavior, forcing the dreaded reach. And that's why he had asked his passive aggro question. It all made sense. I tried calling the store, was put on hold for 20 minutes, no go. We had a dinner rezo, so now as punishment for my plopping, I must go to Best Buy on Saturday morning and fight for my $30, all for a stupid phone case. AITA.
I hate this person. Is she auditioning for a writing role or something? Like, is she trying to write haikus?
Yeah, they get a lot of people from Reddit.
Half the part when she was like, I boarded the subway and once on the train, I literally was shocked she didn't rhyme something with train.
Yeah.
Like, who is this woman?
Right.
This is for sure a woman.
For sure a woman, huh?
This person seems so high maintenance to me.
Yeah.
That it's like, I have no words for this interaction of any. I have no words for this whole thing, truly.
I mean, I think, look, it's a thing. Plopping. Have you heard of plopping before?
Is it just putting something down?
Yeah, it's like when you. Yeah, it's a little rude. Like retail workers hate this. It's when you just like they're not wrong. Like what they did was like vaguely rude. Like you it's like when you put an item down and then they have to reach across. Like it's kind of like
it's a little annoying.
I guess I haven't checked out at Best Buy enough to know the spatial logistics.
Well, it's
of where
she
checkout
put it. Counter, Casey. Have you ever plopped?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm not a plopper. Stop singing plopper at me. No, I mean, I feel like I'm considered. I feel like I try to help people, but also like sometimes just do your job. Like there's part of me sometimes that like, you know, when people are like, can you hang everything back up? I'm like, I mean, also do your job. Like also sometimes I always do.
That sounds like such a fucking plopper quote right there.
Listen,
just do your job. I'm not going to hang it up. No, but that's true. That's
you know, when you get out, you know, there's sometimes when people are like, just can you hang it up and put it back? You're like, what do you do? Like, I'm not going to leave the place in shambles, but I'm also not going to like redo the now I sound like an asshole.
Well, that's curious. That's curious.
It is curious.
You're talking about you go to a fancy clothes store.
Or just go anywhere when
you mean like if you're in a Target?
It's the same. If you're in a Target,
you got to even fold the clothes for yourself. You you gotta like do it all.
Every single time I'm in a Target, they're like, just bring everything back on the hangers.
This is a
and you're
Target
like,
thing. Wait, no, you always put your stuff back on the hanger.
I always do.
But they'll hang it back for you in the wherever it goes
they
in the
will,
store.
but
Oh, I see. Okay, so
Yes.
you go to Target, you're going to get your clothes, you're going to
Yeah.
go to the dressing room, but then you need to put it back on the hanger, but you don't have to put the hanger back to where you got it. Is that what you're saying?
Right, you're not supposed to because you'll fuck it up. You don't understand their organizational
Right.
system.
That seems fair to
But
me.
this is maybe that was a bad. Maybe the example I want to use more. I want to go back in time. Is
Yes.
the one where when Airbnb when they charge you a cleaning fee, but then also tell you take the trash out and do all this shit.
Oh, yeah,
and it's
that's
like, well, then what the
kinda
fuck am I
BS.
paying for?
No, that's
so
kinda
that's
BS.
what I'm saying. So that's why if this is where my thing in a plopping is. It's like if you're the guy that's supposed to take the thing for me and ring it in, if I put it down, does that matter? I mean, I'm not putting it on another checkout stand. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, unless you do it in a passive aggressive way, I feel like you're kind of. You don't have to like hand your checkout person every single thing. Like I went to the
no,
fruit
you don't
stand.
hand them every single thing. It's if there's one thing, you can just clean hand it to
I
them
see
so
what
they
you're
don't have
saying.
to read. Like, that's weird. It's like, it would take you the same amount of effort virtually.
So does this person think that this checkout guy put a fraudulent charge just because he semi-rudely placed something on
Yes.
the counter? That's a little bit of a reach.
I got that.
I didn't even mean it that way, but I don't think this guy cares that much. I feel like it was a series of isolated mistakes.
I think there are some corner cases here with the what can you get away with at various retailers or stores. And one we've talked about is a coffee shop. You go to the coffee shop, you get your frappuccino, you got your muffin plate. When you're done, can you leave it on the table?
It depends on the place.
Oh, if they've waited on me.
There's no. I'm talking about coffee shop. There's
Oh,
no
no.
waiters.
You bring it up. But here's
Yeah.
the thing. I've had both experiences, but I also served in restaurants for 10 years. So I
Right.
change toilet paper rolls at bars. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I fucking
I do
will-
that too.
Absolutely.
It's rude not
Oh,
to
yeah.
if it's right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you
yeah.
do, wait, you mean you do that as a non-worker?
Yes.
Yeah, I've done
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Like, I'll go
If
to a
it's right
bar.
there
I'll
and
change
I
I
my-
finish the
touch
toilet paper.
like, oh,
Nothing I don't need to touch at a bar.
Or like
Ew.
or a restaurant, if like they
Yeah.
have the little basket of all the toilet papers and you finish it, you don't
Or
be
if
a
there's
dick.
like sometimes I'll
As
open
I'm
a cabinet.
great to live with, very pleasant and polite.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. But somebody would say, Casey, what you
Yes.
just said. They go, I'm going to leave my frappuccino because that's their job. Isn't it their job to clean the tables? They got to clean them later anyway.
I also understand that. But here's the thing too. What I was going to tell you is I've had both sides of it. I've then brought my plate up and sometimes they're like, just leave it on the table.
Yeah, like I
Do you know what I
gossip.
mean?
Where do
Like
you
that-
lose
that
that
has
shit?
There's
never
a-
happened to me.
I've had that before. I'm like, can I just put on the counter? And people like sometimes people are really like, I'll bring it back up to the cashier and they'll kind of be like, this is the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
to
then
the
they get a little
cashier,
weird.
You got to take it to the part where they keep the shit.
No, but sometimes it's unclear and they don't have like a good spot. And it's like, what the fuck do I do with this? I'm rude no
All
matter what I
right.
do. I'm thinking of one specific place.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
think it's dangerous thinking to be like, well, isn't that your job? Isn't that your job? I think the better approach is, what can I do to make this person's shitty life? These are shitty jobs. That's where I'm going with this, right?
Okay.
Because when you said that thing about Target, I'm like, please be nice to the fucking people at Target
I'm
making
never
$7 an hour. Whereas
The
if
minimum
I'm
wage is 15.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
15.
well, maybe you're at Target
Yeah.
in Jersey.
I know.
But if you're at Nordstrom's, yeah, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna fucking. I'm paying $400 for a T-shirt. You're
Yeah.
gonna fucking
That's
put it
funny
back.
because they
dog.
probably get paid the same
No, they do
low
not.
wage. At Nordstrom?
At Nordstrom's, they are salaried. I know. I have a friend who
Word?
works at Nordstrom, and they make good money.
Wow, quitting my job.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
No, I'm not so much, isn't that your job? But there are certain times when it's kind of just like, what is everybody doing? I mean, I have whole jokes about how I don't think anybody can do their job because it truly feels like if you've ever talked to anybody or ever had to deal with any kind of government thing or help, at what point does anybody have to take a little responsibility for their own job? I mean, we're bagging our own groceries. We're doing everything ourselves. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I'm checking out myself at the self-checkout, but just because I want to get out there faster.
100%. At a certain point, I just really want somebody. I want to interact with one person that knows how to do their job.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. But you know what I mean? Like that's kind of my thing
Yeah.
of like, I'm like, just can one person just fucking do something?
Yeah.
Just one.
It's like-
And I'm sure that people have said that about me as well. So
Right,
I'm not
right.
exempt from this, but I've never been qualified for a single job I've done. So like I'm speaking from a place of love and personal experience.
Well, okay, to your point, Danny, I get what you're saying. However, you're working retail, you're working at Best Buy, you're doing a shitty job. You've probably experienced way worse in the last hour than someone just not simply handing you a phone case. So either this person is the most like vengeful guy alive, or it was a simple accident. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think that this guy is like seeking retribution by like doing a fraudulent charge, and I don't think it's the rudest thing you can do. Obviously, not by a mile.
I don't know. I don't think that either. But I just think like I was a barista for 2 months, and I know I served my time.
Wow, thank you for your service. Thank you so much. For your tour of coffee beans. Thank you.
I fought for our great espresso nation. Now, I feel to me the hardest part was, being treated like a barista.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think this is another it's a dehumanizing slight. Can I get that?
Totally.
It can be.
It can be.
Sometimes people are not malicious. Sometimes people are just idiots.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. But also but also your argument, if you want people to give you the benefit of the doubt, you have to also do the same thing. To be like, maybe this person also is just like texting a doctor about a dead relative. Maybe they're also just an asshole that lives in a fucking mansion somewhere and they don't care about anybody else.
Right.
But there's always like there could also be something else that's going on. What if like you plopped it because you have baby arms? Like there's a lot of different things.
Well, I think the person would mention they have a baby arm. That would be odd. Going back to the story, people really did not like this story. Sydney L writes, "This is a terrible story. The cashier made a mistake after you absently mindlessly acted rudely." Weirdly adverby sentence. Not a big deal. Writing all of this out, so we had to read it YTA.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
My other thing was also maybe the guy just got confused because the OP was like, "Oh, I'm going to check it and come back," and then seemingly just never came back. Like he just ghosted.
Again.
Eileen C writes, "Is this another plot from Arrested Development, Danny?" So this is such an assault on me. So I love Kirby Enthusiasm. So I put a Kirby Enthusiasm plot as an "Am I the Asshole?" It was like a fun thing I did. So this girl doesn't even realize it. I would never do that for Arrested Development.
Oh, that's funny. I always conflate those two shows in my head.
Sarah.
I'm sorry.
That actually creates.
I've actually watched both of them too.
They're pretty different.
I know.
Mint B writes, YTA, "For some reason I read the whole post in Julie Louis Dreyfus's voice."
Not her name.
Yeah, it's Julia.
Come on.
Oh yeah, it's Julia. They spelled it wrong. I didn't say it wrong, people. Anna Marie Khaleesi says, "This is so poorly written and makes no sense." Trevor T writes, "It sounds like some drunk grandpa telling a convoluted story, which sounds more like a riddle than a cohesive narrative."
I mean, there were a lot of extraneous details, like the fact that you have to go down the escalator at the Best Buy. Like, why is that relevant?
Nobody wants to do that. I see this person's point. Andrea P writes, "I couldn't even finish this. Get a ghostwriter. You're the fucking worst."
Get her.
Fucking worst?
The worst.
Wow. Worse than fucking Mohammed Atta even. Okay. Beth H writes, "This is the worst thing I've ever read." Amber Wright says, "YTA only because the tone of this is so self-serving. You think you are hilarious when in fact you are just an obnoxious ass."
Amber.
I would bet money this is a story that never happened.
Get her, girl.
Stephanie N writes, "YTA, this reads like if Seinfeld if he smoked crack." Brandon W said, "Post this on our cringe." Cade writes, "Just submitting this trash makes you the asshole. And whoever decided we all needed to waste our time reading this terrible narration of this series of events is quite an asshole as well. So I'm the asshole according to Cade because I posted it." And you don't know this, Casey, but I also wrote this, not a woman.
No, you didn't.
I did, yeah.
I knew it like 30 sentences in because all the dumbass abbreviations. I was like, Danny, you fucking wrote this, didn't you?
No, you wrote this?
Yeah, I did. And
Danny.
it is true. I really did. I mean, I got a little funny about it, and obviously people don't like my little jokey jokes, but I really did.
I hated this so much.
I know, that's fair. That's fair.
Once I got to dinner rezo, I was like, I'm going to kill myself, and Danny wrote this.
I had a rezo. What's the problem?
No wonder why you were so overprotective of the worker.
I was overprotective.
You are the worker.
Well, no.
No, he's not. Did you get your $30 back?
So here's the truth, guys. The $30 was a myth.
Oh my God.
What had happened is when you put in your Best Buy card, it remembers like your Best Buy information.
Okay.
But it doesn't actually do your credit card. That takes like a second.
Oh, wait,
you know
this is
what I mean?
a true story.
This is a true story.
Oh, I
it's
thought
all true.
I thought you wrote this as like a
fanfic.
Yes. I thought
God,
you wrote it as like
no.
a funny thing.
Oh God.
That's why I was like, oh, you're protecting. You're taking
Oh no,
the
it's
side of
all
this.
real. It's all real.
You are the Karen.
This is me in
Yes.
one. Yeah, like I wrote this without I wrote it in one fell swoop and I didn't reread it or edit it. I did make a very wise decision to post it anonymously, and then I posted it because I was like, we need to put some stuff in the group. And this happened to me last night and I was having a panic attack about it.
No.
Wait, so was it $30 charge like a hold?
It was not a charge. In a freak coincidence,
Same.
it was the following customer after me was named Ruben, which I was like, yeah, the employee's name is Rudy and his real name is Ruben. He goes by Rudy. For some reason, that made sense to me.
Is that a common thing?
No,
Okay.
it's not. But it kind of, you could see how if you were looking at the receipt come in, I was like, oh yeah, because Ruben was the guy. He was Rudy.
Okay.
So then my mind was like, oh, and that's his name because he was the guy who like rung me up and fucked me with this $30 charge.
Okay.
So then when I went to Best Buy, this guy's like, no, this is the person who was charged. Ruben was charged. And I was like, oh.
Wait, so they just ran your Best Buy card?
They just gave me this guy's points. His story actually benefited me. I got 30 Best Buy points. So if you guys want a Mountain Dew at Best Buy, that shit is on me, dog. And yes, they do have Mountain Dew there.
Well, I'm sorry for all this shit I talked about.
No, this is a Trojan horse.
We've just learned that Casey is an even bigger sexist than we thought. I
know.
Because she thought it was a woman the whole time.
A woman's favorite store is Best Buy?
Because she said I acted, well,
like a Karen?
Like a Karen, and that threw me off.
You know what? Karen is a gender neutral term.
Thank you, Sarah. Amen to that
is
shit.
now.
Now, there are a couple comments here. First of all, I would like to plead protection from double jeopardy, which I believe is an amendment, because Kate M said, I'm an asshole for posting it, and I'm an asshole for submitting it. Sarah, can I get some relief? Not guilty of one of these jeopardies?
Okay, well, you only did one.
Aha, okay, so great.
So
relieved.
you submitted and posted it at the same time, kind of, right?
Yeah, you're right.
In effect.
So it's not double jeopardy. It's just one crime.
You're just the asshole for submitting it.
That's fair.
There we go. Yeah, because I was going to say, I actually don't think either one of you, the story, I don't think either one person is the asshole. The only thing I was annoyed with was the goofy puns and stuff like that. That's the only thing.
You guys hated them.
Oh my God.
hated them
so
much.
Checkout.
Rude E.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. I'm fun.
It's very silly.
fun.
But I was going to say, I don't think either person is the asshole. I don't think you were malicious. I don't think they were malicious.
No. You know, and I actually love this comment the most, even though it was meant in a very mean way. Tommy M writes, this is the most solipsistic drivel I've read in quite some time. And a solipsist, what is a solipsist? It's someone who believes the only reality that's real is what's in their own head.
Whoa.
Or how does it go? I might have it wrong. How does it go? What is a solipsist?
I don't know. I was gonna. It was way. It was a way bigger word than I'm
Sarah, Google
prepared to deal with.
solipsist. I feel like I'm on the right track, but I don't have it
that's
exactly.
an interesting word to use.
My friend Paul gave me this great insight, and I've been chewing on this for some time.
Yeah.
And it's that when you, like, let's say I do something rude to you. We're going to get lunch, and then I no show. No call, no show. I fuck you over. And then I'll do something like this. I go, Casey, I'm such a piece of shit. I'm such a bad person. Fuck me. I'm awful. I'm sorry. And I did that to him, and he goes, don't do that. Because when you do that and you're still making it about you.
Right, it's manipulative.
It's manipulative. And so I've tried to stop doing that.
Because you're forcing the other person to comfort you when you did the bad thing.
This is true.
I didn't even know
That's why. You're forcing them implicitly to be like, no, you're not a bad person. Because it's a big sign of like emotional abuse in relationships. Sorry to bring it back there all the time.
No,
Constantly on the lookout.
Okay.
But you know what? Because what I've learned as I've gotten older, it's so hard to just say one thing without any explanation when you don't need to. Like if you meant, I'm sorry.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's so hard to not write a whole like, and because now when I see people like do something like that, I'm like, just say you can't go. Like, I don't need to know what, like you've now given me 5 things, which makes me now I'm pissed. But if you just couldn't go, you know what I mean? Like it's the more simple, and then it's nobody's hurt and you're a grown up and nobody cares. Cause I'm never offended when somebody has to do something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's I think we don't have to worry about that with other people. Just sorry.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Hit us with the definition of solipsism.
Is the philosophical idea that only one's mind is sure to exist.
Yes, exactly. Wow. Great. So I was kind of on the right track.
The external world and other minds cannot be known and might not exist outside the mind. So it's basically just like you can only judge your own experiences, I guess. And they're saying you can't judge other people's.
It's kind of like a self-centered, like the only real thing is what's in my own head, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I like this.
It's self-serving.
Like, exactly. And that made me realize like, I really did go through this, and I really was like, I was a dick to this person. I plopped. That's why he made this comment. And I felt real guilt for that, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the dude was just confused. I don't know. I didn't read any malice into anyone's.
No, I thought no.
He was just like, oh, is that what you want? And then you were like, yeah, I'm sorry. And then
it was a little slower. It wasn't like, is that what you want? It was like, so is Is that what you want? Like, it was like, he was kind of saying like, you're being an asshole, dude.
But then were you like, oh yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
Well, I said, and then I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Cause I thought he was referring to the phone case outside of the box.
So what happened? You took the phone outside the box. You put both separately on the counter.
No, I put the phone case on top of the phone case box and I just plopped it on the fucking counter.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Like how
maybe you're the asshole for like taking the shit outside the box.
That's where you're going to come for me now?
Yeah, that's rude.
Okay.
I also think that we should make a rule for yourself that anything that happens at Best Buy will not send you into a spiral.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there is no reason that you ever needed to think about that guy ever again.
It's my happy place.
Unless Rudy's listening.
Yes. No, Best Buy can
Love
be
you,
your
man.
happy place, but you don't ever have to think that you offended Rudy because you put something on a counter.
Yeah.
You can't punish yourself for that for this long.
Yeah.
You
Part
know
of
what?
me,
One time, go ahead.
I was just going to say, part of me feels like this reads like a Bob's Burgers episode for some reason.
Wow.
Like
You
all
were
these abbreviations.
Pubing out. I
feel
was
like,
totally pubing out.
yeah.
Pubing out. I wanted to say another thing to what you said about just putting a period on it, like when you make a statement. And
put a period on
we've
it.
said something like this before, but like especially when you say I'm sorry, I really think what you're saying when you say I'm sorry is I'm sorry, and I will listen to you speak now, because that is almost always the next part of an apology is that you are seeking understanding of what you have done. Right?
From the other person.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Of course, when you can just be sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And then you're going to listen to them. That's really, rather than fucking trying to build your case or whatever, be defensive.
Yeah,
right? It's like,
there's
listen.
Yeah.
So
we don't have to paint them the whole, we don't have to be like, oh, well, the temperature, and it was like, you don't have to paint the story around a reason when the reason can just be what it is with no other freaking bells and whistles. But that's only come as I've gotten old. I mean, I used to sit up at night and I still sometimes, you just feel guilty about all these things that have ever happened in your entire life. And then you just, sometimes you delete everything that you've written and then you just write the one sentence and you put a period at it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, Reddit says that all the time. They're always like, listen, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to be like, oh, I can't go to the party. My hamster's been kind of sick. And then I have my friend sick from out of town.
Yeah,
like,
I just got back.
And like, yeah, sorry, you just can't stay with me because like it's super, like whatever. And they're always just like, no is a complete sentence. And I'm like, what a revolutionary concept. But, but it actually is.
I don't know. I'm struggling with that one a little bit.
It's very hard. It's really hard.
There's some nuance there. Like if I say, hey, Sarah, you want to get brunch this weekend? You just write back a no. I'm going to be like, all right, well, I'm never asking you again. Then.
It's more like, oh, hey, Sarah, can me and my 5 closest friends and I haven't spoken to you in 17 years come stay at your apartment?
Yeah.
It's like, we were cool when we were 10, but now it's like, okay, come on, Julie.
Yeah. Or are you gonna go to the party tonight? No, I'm not gonna make it.
Exactly.
That's it. And I'm not. You don't have to say why.
It's not just like no period. Like that's passive aggressive as hell. I used that on Friday. I felt so powerful. Ooh. Actually, it was just aggressive. But no, it just means like you can just say no, I can't, or like sorry, no.
There doesn't have to be any reason besides that.
Casey, you had mentioned something that I thought was pretty funny, which is excuse me.
Speaking
that's
of,
okay with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of passive aggressive, we were saying, obviously in New York, I think we could all go off on something that happens on the subway every day
until I die.
But there's something that for me always feels ruder when someone says excuse me. You're like, I get it, you need to go past me. But when someone says excuse me please, I always feel like that sounds for something about excuse me please makes me feel like it's ruder than just push me next time. Just fucking push me in front of the train.
Go on.
I mean, but it's serious. Like, excuse me please. It's like now you're going to use manners when you're trying to shove me out of the way. You know what I mean? Like it just feels
so funny.
Excuse me please, and you're like. What I'm going to say thank you out? Or I don't know. It's just weird. You know what I mean? Like I hate excuse me, please.
Ugh.
Excuse me, please. Feels entitled.
It feels entitled. That's interesting.
Entitled.
So, Sarah, you were saying that you possibly experienced something worse than an excuse me, please.
Oh, yeah, God. It was so bizarre. I texted my friends about it. They haven't responded. Sophie. So I was going
to Sophie.
I love her, but still, I haven't stopped thinking about this. It's been 2 hours. I was going down the escalator, walking down the escalator on the left side, as you do. Some girl was kind of standing in the middle, which is like a no-no. And this other girl comes around. She's like at least my age, definitely like a grown enough adult to like know words. And she comes around. This girl's not moving. Instead of saying, excuse me, she goes, beep, beep.
I can't.
And I'm like,
beep, beep.
what? That's like so kind of mean and condescending in these two small repetitive sounds. And then I went into this like language spiral. And then I was like, well, maybe she doesn't speak English. Like maybe like, I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I think she just, that was her move. And I have so many follow-up questions. Yeah.
Did you say you're on the left side of the escalator?
Yeah, to walk.
Oh, because you were actively walking.
I was walking.
And she was walking even faster than you?
She was like, I think she was just in front of me.
I feel like
What do you mean she was in front of you?
So there was one girl in the middle. There was one girl walking in front of me. And then I was like behind her.
So how could she beep you if you're behind her?
She beeped the girl who was in the middle, who was not moving.
Oh, it wasn't a beep at you. You were offended on someone else's behalf.
She
I was
she
spectating.
witnessed.
I was like, what did I just see?
She
That's so
witnessed
funny.
the beep. Because I feel like you can say beep like to a family member.
So I was looking
you know,
for like 2
somebody
minutes. I was like,
beep.
oh, is this girl going to come around and be like, oh my God, hey. And like, it didn't happen. Like I thought they knew each other because that's acceptable.
Right.
But they were just, and
we
she kept walking after the beep. And I was like, there was no recognition.
Are we so deep in technology that like we're not even using words anymore? We're just saying swipe, beep,
Right?
beep.
We're
I'm
cars.
like, yeah.
Yeah, whenever I make a left turn,
Like,
I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if somebody clicked at me, well, I would probably move because I think it's like, what would, that's the thing is that like we hear these sounds that we probably will like move because
Yeah.
what else are you going to do? But also then, but then secretly be like, what the hell was that?
What was next time I got to get around someone, I'm going to be like, skirt. So they move out of the way.
you know what?
Church.
One time a guy was doing like a tight pass on me, like maybe you're blocking someone and they can squeeze by, but it's like
Yeah.
a tight pass. And
do
he
it all the
put
time.
his hand on my lower back.
Welcome to womanhood.
I've heard that this happens to women all the time, but I simply told him, there's no touching, sir.
Yes.
And he fucking went off on me. He was ready to fight me.
Why? I'm going to borrow that next time.
And was that?
I'm going to borrow that for next
There's
time.
no touching. So.
Yeah.
So what happened? Why was he mad?
Yeah. What did he say?
He was like, what is that? Well, what do you mean there's no? And I was like, there's no touching. Like, that's just how it is. And I think he called me an asshole or he used a slur or something. I don't know. But
Oh my God, that's so
I
funny.
like kept a distance from him because he seemed like he was in a wife beater. So he probably.
Oh
would've fought.
God.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
he's
yeah,
into
yeah, yeah.
touching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, you're a jerk. Whatever. I said what I said.
Well, Casey, it's been such a blast.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much. I think you kind
Yay.
of teased something, so I want to make sure we plug Not Another True Crime podcast.
Yes.
So tell these people where they can find you. You've got your album coming out
do.
shortly. It can be pre-ordered on iTunes.
Yes, and I have a link in the bio of my Instagram, which is at KSpaceB, CASEFACEB. Also, if you like want to go to Facebook for some reason, I have the album in the link there as well.
Great. Son of a Barb.
Son of a Barb. That's what it's called. Out October 10th.
And I will throw a link to your Twitter
Thank
and
you.
your Insta in the description. Thanks
Woo.
so much.
Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure. And this episode is sponsored by Otterbox. I actually still don't have one. They're too fucking expensive. All right, guys, that's the show. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next Monday morning.